I honestly forgot that I was recording this for a little bit, so I did do a few things, not a lot. I changed this so there would actually be a transition. So you have to prepare, then transfer, then execute. I had to look that up because I couldn't get it to work correctly, but I got it now. So now when I talk to her, my sibling here, it gives you that nice transition effect, which kind of helps separate like the different events. So I'm also going to add this transition effect after she's talked to you and you're taken to the inn in starting town, which is somewhere. I'm pretty sure it should be right here when you transfer. So to transfer somebody, you have to turn fading off, and then you will insert a prepare, then transfer, and then insert the execute. And the one I'm using right now is this square, which I don't know, it's just cool. I guess I could have used whirl, but yeah, square one. And apply and okay. So now that will transition as well. I also want to, you talk to your sibling here and you begin the party. I also want to add a transition here. I might eventually add like filler or things in between, because right now there's not really a good flow to the beginning part of the game, to this world, but for now this is going to be okay, and the transitions will definitely help by it's not just teleporting out of the blue, it's also there's that transition to break it up, so it's not just bam, you're in a different place. I'm going to ask the question, insert yes and no, and say, so this way you have a choice if you haven't talked to everyone. Be insert and go to the party. Okay, apply and okay. I was playing through, and a lot of these I haven't added music to yet, and it's really weird, but it's okay. The other thing I did was here, I actually added this map underneath, so you can get a treasure, and there's like a skeleton here, but this one is available here. So you do need to know Lena, and you have to have a certain number of quests done before you can go down here, which is pretty cool. Otherwise nothing happens. I might, now that I think about it, I might need to add like a text prompt that like Lena doesn't trust you enough yet or something, just because you do have to have a certain number of quests. But at this point, at the very beginning, you already have like 3 done if you do them, all the ones in starting town, so it shouldn't be too bad. And then if you do Diana's, that's 4. So I'm sure people won't do all the quests and you'll run into this where you don't know how to go under there, but it's fine. This one's a pretty simple map. It's just walls on the outside, then your floor and the water tiles here. I didn't bother with any stairs. And then second, you have your stairs here, so that way it looks like it's cutting through, and like you don't get like the end, like this just continues on through the stairs, or not through, you know what I mean, like because there's a half tile where it just wouldn't exist if it didn't continue, so that's why it looks kind of like that. And then third layer doesn't need anything because it's just a really simple map, and then this will take you back up. So yeah, super quick, easy kind of thing. Those are, and then I made this temple, this map bigger, and then I combined the Evil Castle tile set with the forest tile set and did a bit of adjusting here. So I added, I've changed the flag a little so it has more lines. I've added like 2 of these so one kind of glows. I've added a wall with runes on it. I've changed the color of this flower. It used to be red. And then I also, of course, added this to glow, added red mushrooms and glowing eyes for the dragons here. So yeah, not too many changes, but I put them together so that I could have like this nice, here's the forest, here's the temple, and like kind of have that less abrupt transition. This door is not going to be open yet, so it only appears to be glowing after you've gotten a certain switch. Now that I think about it, might do it to the eyes, or maybe I'll do it to these ones and these ones will just glow automatically. I haven't decided like completely, but and I've put the switch down here just because I think I'm probably going to have a couple more quests in between. If not, whatever, I'll just switch it. But yeah, I think I'll have more interactions with people here, and especially in Castletown. I would like to do several quests here in Castletown, so I mean, it's big. I want things for the player to do. And then I think I probably want more quests here in Snowbelt as well. But yeah, pretty much that's what I have so far. So not a bunch of changes since I last recorded, but oh, sorry. But a couple of them.
Now that I've caught you up on what I've done previously, let's get into making more progress. Since it's been a little while since I've worked on the game, my first thing to do is test run it, make sure everything is working out how I want it to. I start with this beginning scene, making sure that the classes assigned are correct, that you can grab your breakfast, and that your sibling teleports you to the party. Then I start making sure that the towns have people and that the switches are assigned to them. I start filling out people in starting town, having children run around playing, having maids watching them, since a lot of people in starting town are rich, and other people to talk to. Also make sure that there are events in the castle to stop you from going too far. Now I'm going to make a student's quarters. The Magician's Temple or research area is the main building that you want to go into, but you can't get inside without going into the student's quarters first. Here you'll see a lot of the ghosts of students that are left behind after the tragedy of the mishandled magical experiment. These students are hesitant to help you as they don't know anything about you, but one of them can tell and check how many quests you've done, and if you've done enough, will be willing to tell you how to open the main gate. If you haven't done enough quests, it is still possible to find the switch and open the main gate, but it's a little bit harder without a hint. Now I'm just finishing up the living quarters, adding some more details, and making sure everything is where I want it to be. I'll make sure that you can get to and from the map, and begin adding the ghosts. Because these are ghosts, I'm changing their opacity so they're a bit more see-through. And then I'm giving them something to say. Though most of them won't have anything important to say, I do still want them to give you something, so they don't just stand there. Because the point of this game is quests, and I also want it to be more realistic, if a tragedy had happened here, the capital would rightly so block it off. So I'm adding a guard as well as something that you need to do in order to get past him. In this case, it's pretty much a simple fetch quest. He says you can't get past, and all you need to do is find a member of the council for permission, have them stamp a paper with their seal, and then you can go back to the guard and he'll let you pass. Though for now, you'll only see me typing the guard's words, and I will finish the rest of the quest later. Now I'll move on to the main area. This time, unlike many of my other maps, I'm going to start with a mini-map to let me get a feel for the different rooms and where they will be situated. I'm also going to look through the different tile sets to see what I like. I want a main hallway and 5 different rooms. One of the rooms, the one at the top, I currently have no use for. I originally was going to put something there like a broken crystal or something to signify the tragedy and greed that befell the place, but haven't decided yet. For the other rooms, there will be a library, a classroom, a church area, and the research lab where the artifact that you are looking for resides. With the mini-map done, it's time to move on to the actual thing. Unlike the mini-map where it's all just one map, I'm separating each of the rooms and the main hallways into their own maps. I'm starting with the main hallway, giving it walls, floors, and leaving spaces open for the other rooms. I use different tiles in the room's entryways so I can keep track of which room is which. I have to playtest the game to make sure the door in the back lines up correctly, since the door is a full tile in the middle with a half tile on each of its sides. I add decoration and a ghost of an old mage as well. Next, I move on to the church map. Religion doesn't play a very important role in this game, but it is prevalent in several places, especially with the angels. Wanting lights using events, I have to playtest to make sure they're where I want them to be, and to check that they're glowing correctly. I add benches, some decorations, and then I'll also add rules for magic. These rules would have been followed quite strictly at first, but as mages began to desire more power, some of the rules would have been ignored. I'll also add another ghost of an older mage / cleric in this location, wondering how and why this happened. For the rules, I also add a different color of text when it says rules of magic. There's not too much of a reason why, I just wanted to separate the rules of magic title from the actual rules. With that, I'm pretty much done with the church part of the building, so I will be moving on to the library. Of course, I need plenty of books and seating, and I'll also add desks where people can read or study. This room also has a ghost, one with the unfortunate lack of ability to touch things. After some more decorations and details, that's the library done, and I'm moving on to work on the lab, or what I have labeled as the artifact room. This room has desks as well, and plenty of cabinets for ingredients or supplies. I don't want this to be too simple, so instead of walking in and grabbing the artifact, I add a monster that will have to be defeated. At this point in time, I go back to the guard at the entrance and finish up his quest, including all the dialogue and the switches and the people you'll need to talk to. Or I guess, person. You probably noticed that I never did the classroom, the fourth map off of the main hallway, and you are correct. I tend to do things a little out of order, you could say. Feel free to work on your projects in any order that you want. But for me, I often bounce back and forth between 2 or more things at a time. I like to work on whatever I'm thinking of doing, and it helps me stay more motivated, so I'm able to work quicker overall. And then, after doing the guards quest, it's back to the lab. I want to add more details here. I have a coffee mug that has a little bit of steam coming out of it. Why? I felt like adding it, call it magic. And I'm also going to adjust part of the tile set so I can add more ruined elements. This is a lab, it's been through a lot, and it's where a huge monster is that you have to fight. So I'm adding cracks in floors, in walls, in cabinets, and I'm also going to add some more potion bottles that the students or maybe the professors have used or worked on. For me, I'm really proud about how this tile set looked like and how it came out, and so I played with it and looked at it a lot more than some other tile sets, but it's good to be proud of your work. So if you do something that you really like in one of your projects, take your time to appreciate it. Then, of course, I need to play test the game and make sure the transfer events work correctly. After doing that, I decided I don't like the skinny rug, and so I add on to it, making it larger and thicker, leading into all of the different rooms. With the rug done, I also add some more decoration. Now it's time for what I originally had as a classroom, but have now decided it would be a kitchen. Think of it now, maybe I make the top room a classroom. I'll see, I haven't done it yet. Now I'm working on the monster fight event, making sure it'll give you a piece of the artifact when you fought it. I also have to make sure that the artifact is an item that you can get. I will copy and paste the event all around the table, so you have to fight the monster no matter where you approach it from. For the monster fight, I want to bring you back to starting town, without making you walk all the way back. To do this, I'm going to use Kae. She has to join your party for you to move on from Snowbell, so I know she's there. She's going to say that the artifact being in separate pieces was a fear of hers, and that it's been a while since she's read the record of the split. In order to learn more, you need to go back to starting town and meet up with a friend of hers. This will cause the player to be teleported back to starting town for the next part of the game. And that's all for this episode. Next time, we will move on to gathering the next piece, which means we're going to see more elves. With that, I hope you have a good day, evening, night, whatever it is. Remember to eat well, sleep well, and drink lots of water. Bye!